now. The VAT on electricity, which we know has recently been implemented. Labour has been speaking. We heard the Secretary General of the TUC speak, and some other leaders of TUC have spoken. First, let's take a look at what they have said, and then we'll look at what ex-president, I beg your pardon, John Dramani Mahama has also said.
As organized labor, we made strong suggestions and called on government to take it up. I have not seen that even one of those suggestions have been taken. And to think that we are going to be burdened with more taxes, it is not the best.
To push people below the poverty line is a recipe for disaster. Okay, and you'll be inviting more chaos and anarchy. And I don't want to believe that that is what they are expecting from the people of this country. For now, it is no, 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 and it's still no.
The same people who told us that they will not go to IMF are now those who are glorifying IMF and are implementing the IMF policy to the latter. Colleagues, I'll plead with leadership. When it comes to the 31st of January and they do not stop the policy, we will not have to engage anybody. It is an automatic strike action from the 1st of February.
We are already suffering. The taxes are too much. It is not just workers, but all Ghanaians are really suffering. They have told us that if we allow this, all of us as Ghanaians, it will not be good for us.
They've taxed electricity. Very soon they'll go to water. Very soon they are going to tell you that if you have one night with your wife, you should be taxed. That is what is going to happen. They want to tax everything they can see. And that is bad for this country.
On the 10th of January, his salary is finished. And if you are telling the person to pay additional money out of the little you are giving him, what are you telling him? Government is pushing us too much to the wall. This time we are tired.
This one, whoever make an attempt to return, and try is not even great. A time will come, organized labor, people will not take it serious. Oh, leave them. They will start and stop somewhere. Please, let's lace our boots. It is a journey of no return.
So those were leaders of various labor unions talking about the VAT on electricity. We heard from NAGRAT, from TEU, from the Nurses and Midwives Association, and so on. And so basically, all of these groups have come together to say that they want the 15% VAT on electricity scrapped. Then ex-President Mahama also put up a post. I'll read a portion of it. He says, I agree with organized labor that the government must reverse its decision to start collecting VAT on electricity consumption. The NDC is eager and ready to address Ghana's economic challenges and provide a substantial relief to Ghanaians upon assumption of office in January 2025. Aisha, is this correct?
Come again?
Is this correct? This is a post by the ex-president. Supporting calls from the various labor unions to scrap the 50% on electricity. Correct? All right. And the conversation didn't start today. It's been going on for some time now. Yesterday, Enoch Efuakwa, speaking for the NPP, said that this imposition or this implementation is necessary as one of the agreements or measures that we have with the IMF to internally generate funds. And so it's necessary at this time. What's the NDC position on that?
Okay. So now I am tired of coming back every now and then and talking about taxes, especially knowing that this government promised to move us from taxation to production. So coming back every now and then to talk about one tax or two other taxes that have been introduced amazes me a lot. It amazes. Dr. Baumia in opposition fixed all the problems in the economy, all the economic problems. He fixed them on paper. He held lectures restoring the value of the CD, did all that. In fact, theoretically, he is good when it comes to fixing the economy. Now he's faced with the reality. And what do we see? He's just digressed from his own taxation to production. And what he's doing is to keep on taxing us, more tax, taxation to taxation. You see, they promised Ghanaians to remove what they call nuisance taxes. Apparently, all those promises were hoax. They never meant them. They were just words spoken to woo Ghanaians to vote for them. They never meant them. Since the inception of this government, 2017, till date, they've imposed over 50 taxes. The government that promised to move us from taxation to taxation has imposed over 50 taxes. And about this new electricity tax that we are talking about, they said those above lifeline consumers are not part of it. But the question is,
those below the
lifeline, they are not part of it. So those above are going to be affected. But the question is, how many of our lifeline consumers have their own meters? Most of these people you call lifeline consumers share meters. And at the end of the day, the accumulated consumption will be above the lifeline threshold. So, what have you done for them? And I would want to draw the attention of Ghanaians to something. It's not just the 15%, because there is already a 6% tax on our electricity. So it's about 21%. Yes.
Okay.
That it's NHIL and plus, yes, COVID levy, amount to about 6%.
It's part of the
It's
VAT.
part of it.
It will add on to
21%.
all
So
those
if
other
you
taxes.
if you buy 100 Ghana worth of electricity, 200 Ghana worth, you are going to pay about, if 100 Ghana, you're going to pay about 21 Ghana cedis in addition before you can get 100 Ghana cedis worth of
It's
electricity.
42.
200 Ghana cedis will be 42.
No, because you have to add on to your normal consumption. Then you pay your VAT. Do you get me? If you do 100 a month and you want to get clear 100, you have to add a 21 to the difference and pay your tax.
Yeah, so you are going to pay
twice.
Yes. On 100 Ghana cedis worth of electricity. And how much is our minimum wage? 18 Ghana cedis. Our minimum wage is 18 Ghana cedis. And if you have to add as much as 21 Ghana cedis just for electricity, the other things, other utilities haven't come. Your other expenditure hasn't come.
Transportation, fuel.
Did we go or we came? I'm trying to be, now. So it's something that if we sit down and think about this whole taxes, we just can't wrap our minds around it. This year alone, there have been non-life insurance on car, motor, fire, building, goods in transit. They've all been affected. If you purchase a house, you rent a house, there is a 5% flat VAT rate on it. There is a VAT on petrol and diesel vehicles. That means if you have a trotro, Uber, your private car, Okada, all the vehicles that uses petrol or diesel, you have to pay 100 Ghana cedis.
So you support the call for the scrapping of the 15%?
I support it.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let me come to you, Nanaya. You've worked in the sector, so I think you have a better understanding of how these things work. Is it practical to ask for the scrapping of the tax?
Why not? It's even illegal.
What's illegal?
The tax they are imposing.
Why is it illegal?
Yeah, because you have a tariff setting guidelines.
Okay.
And in that tariff setting guidelines, that guides the setting of tariffs. It does not include VAT for consumption, domestic consumption of electricity. It's not there. For the commercial side, there is a VAT. But for the domestic side, there is no need saying that this is a nuisance tax. but it is linked to the IMF, and it's a conditionality. But it's not every conditionality that you should adhere to, because this is not the first time it has come up. Do you understand? This is not the first time. It came up from Rawlins's time down to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and they all said no. But me, I'm happy because I said on one of your sister stations that the TUC is mute, and that's what is his name? My own friend Yaba. Whatever he came to say, it was a very feeble resistance. But today I have seen some fire. These are my comrades. Do you understand? I've seen some fire, and I believe I hope they are going to take the fire further. Because this is this kind of thing that's affecting all of us. And it's going to affect the middle class more. It's going to affect the poor more. It's going to affect everybody, because the poor, they live in compound houses. And as Aisha said, their power runs through 1 meter. Their consumption, it runs through 1 meter. So at the end of the day, even pay more, because they are above 600. The 30 units, I don't know which people will be within the 30 units range. Because when I was there, it was 50 units. Even that one, we had only 1 million people.
How much is a unit?
I think now it's one CD, 25. I haven't checked.
And now it's 50 units.
What I'm saying, 50 units lifeline.
Okay. So for people who spend less than 50 Ghana cedis.
No, it used to be 50 units lifeline. Now it is 30 units lifeline.
So for you to be exempt from this 15% tax, you must be someone who uses 30 Ghana cedis.
30 units of electricity, not Ghana cedis.
And 1 unit is how much?
I think it's about 1 cedi or so. I haven't checked.
Okay.
So you have to use within 30 units. I buy it by units. I know the units.
Realistically, what can 30 units do for you?
Oh, right now, I don't know, because the 50 units, I don't know even if it exists, because the 50 units was a bulb.
1 bulb?
1 bulb, maybe a small radio, and maybe a small fridge or something. If you have a small one room. Yeah, very basic.
So if you have...
So now I don't know what the 30 units will do.
A television set.
Then you have to, and depends on how you use it.
Okay.
Because the TV doesn't consume that much. So it depends on how you, even the bulb, you should have the energy savers. So now it's only the energy savers, the incandescent. So these are the things that you need. 3 items, or at most 4. That is the 50. And when I was there, it was mostly in the northern NETCO. So every time you notice that the revenue requirement of NETCO was very small.
Okay. Because
they didn't have adequate money because of the people who are there. But now I don't know who will be on 30.
And now 30 is lower.
They're very low. So okay. I for that call, but you see, Excellency John Dramani Mahama is a very nice person. When he was president and he wasn't even involved in increasing of tariffs, the TUC were on Aluta, proper on the streets. Anytime we did tariff, I was in charge of the stakeholders. Anytime that there was a tariff, there was Aluta, not small one. They'll go on the streets and do proper. So I asked Yaba on one of your sister stations, where is he? Why is he quiet? So the next day he came to issue a statement that they will not agree. But I like the fire that is coming.
Okay.
So that at least we know the 600,000 people who are workers in this nation will know that that is it. But now just give me a second to send my condolences to my own family. We lost our father.
I'm sorry to hear
4
that.
years. Oh, we lost our father 4 years ago.
Okay.
And our father has always been me. For instance, he was a great pillar in my life. He was my best friend, my comrade, and my best friend. And I send condolences to my sisters,
to your family.
And yes, my brothers and everybody. Yeah.
Our condolences with you too.
By the 5 years, we are going to get a good event for him.
Will the president consider the call from the TUC?
He has to. This one, he has no choice.
Okay, let her answer the question.
Why wouldn't he consider? He was the first.
Let her answer the question. Nanaya.
In every situation, a decision is taken. There's conversation, there are discussions. Talking about taxes and talking about we saying we're moving from taxation to production.
Yes.
That was a promise we made. And 15 of those nuisance taxes, as we call them, were scrapped. That is a fact.
We are bringing more
15 of them were scrapped.
Now more nuisance.
You see, just
Please
keep
allow
quiet.
her to speak.
That was the time. Economy was growing. We're doing well. Tariffs on utilities were reviewed downwards. At a point when we're in the hardest point of our lives, there was Nanaya, please. When we're in the toughest times in this country, there was some 50% waiver for electricity
Are you talking about during the COVID-19
I'm telling you
era?
for you to understand that depending on the time you find yourself in, you put in measures to mitigate what your challenges are.
Okay, so let's talk
You
about
get
these
it?
times.
So we came in, businesses needed some reliefs and all that. The economy was doing well. Those reliefs were. We haven't hidden it from Ghanaians that we are in entirely difficult times now, that we all need to chip in one way or the other to make sure that we come back to where we were so we can all be comfortable. This VAT tax or VAT on electricity, if you've even been following the conversation, and I don't have any qualms with what TUC is doing. TUC is supposed to look out for the welfare and anything that they think is not helping the cause. And we are in difficult times. The cause of their people, they come out to do it. There'll be stakeholder engagement and all that. If you've been listening to the ECG boss, he himself said this has given an opportunity for us to do broader consultations. It has technical issues and all that. This has been passed for how many years now? The people who passed it in 2013, what were they thinking when they passed it?
Passed what?
You know, so at this point in time, it's not like they've started collecting VAT on electricity. It hasn't commenced. So it gives us a window for broader consultation and stakeholder
When are you
discussion.
going to start collecting?
You get it? No, until these consultations are definitely TUC has come up. They must
Why
be engaged.
didn't you do the consultations before the implementation?
I wouldn't say there was no consultation entirely. Probably it wasn't broad enough. Now that it's become
who did you consult?
please. Now that it's become a reality, it's become like, you know how it's like you have something there, you are not utilizing, you are not implementing it, you don't really pay heed to it. Now that it has to be implemented, even sensitization has to be done for even the workers of ECG. So it may have been something that was overlooked, but that doesn't stop us from going back and doing the consultation. And I think I'll urge all of us, I'll urge calm. Yes.
At this point, the
Yes.
government is going to be doing broader consultation.
We have to.
With,
Because if
with,
ECG,
with who?
ECG, consumers and even the ones who are going to do the collection. Because ECG has different systems. ECG has a prepaid system. ECG has a postpaid system. You pay VAT on something you are taking. ECG charges us when you are done using the power. So all these things need to be looked at. They can't just get up and say, because they've been given a directive, they are just going to. So it comes with its own consultation of various stakeholders. TUC is there, they raise their concerns. Definitely they must be engaged. The workers in ECG that need to run the
government
system.
will engage
We have
TUC to consider
that
their
one
proposal.
does nothing about
In
it.
fact, it's not a proposal, they are demanding.
Come again.
That TUC is demanding.
Whichever way they put it,
So-
there has to be some consultation.
So you are going to engage with them?
Definitely.
All
There's
right.
no
I'm told
hard and fast rule about
we've overrun by 8
But
minutes,
the
so we
times
have to end the segment.
The times determine the measures you put in
All
place.
right. Thank
We need
you.
to look at domestic
Thank
resource
you.
mobilization. We need to look at how we can get money to fund
Thank
our
you,
power
Loratu.
challenges.
Thank
And your
you,
letter
Loratu.
was so specific.
Thank you, Loratu. Yes,
letter
unfortunately,
was
we have
specific.
to end the segment now. Thank you, Loratu, Nana, and Aisha. We've been talking about the conviction of some 6 people on high treason and conspiracy to commit high treason, and also ex-President Mahama's call or agreement with the TUC on the call on government to scrap the 15% VAT imposition on electricity. You're watching TV3 New Day. When we come back, we'll have more conversations. Cookie is going to be talking to the leadership of the National Service Team to talk about some of the challenges they're currently facing. We'll also have some entertainment conversation. You can continue to reach out to us with the hashtag TV3 New Day on Twitter. Stay tuned.